Namaste, viewers. Welcome to Jaipur Dialogue USA. I'm Vibhuti Jha and I'm joined by Dr. Narayanswami on our third part of Vedas for Success. Now, we kept this sequence for three parts, primarily because we do not want to overwhelm you with information which is, video based. But it is important for you to remember what Narayan Swamiji talked about last week about lighting the fire within. And those 8 or 9 sutras are given from page 79 in the book, where he says, invite fire, invite Agni in home, your life. This is where the fire within comes up with. The second part, which is equally important, is how do you imbibe it in your system? How does one do it? Because remember one thing, modern example and otherwise, it says that whatever you learn, if your body doesn't respond to that, then your learning doesn't become good enough. It doesn't produce the same result. So learning must become part of your somatic experience, that is the body. And that's what is important. But we'll talk about as we go along. But I wanted to thank you all. Dr. Narayan Swami just shared with me that last week also, approximately 25 books were purchased by viewers, and we are very grateful and very happy. That means you are showing your intent and desire to succeed. That's very positive. So, Dr. Narayan Swami, welcome to the show. And to all the viewers, please like, subscribe, and support our channel. Give your feedback, and we value it. So, with that, I'm handing over to you, Dr. Narayan Swami, to continue the dialogue on lighting the fire within, because you also told about mantra chanting with the intonation within the Sare Gama Pada Nisa to make it musical. But that's where the music becomes impactful when it connects with your inner chord. So that's what is critical to do that. All yours. Let's get going.
Thank you, Vibhuti, and thank you for all your listeners for uh, close to in the 2 weeks. As you said, about 20 plus 20, close to 50 books have been sold. So that means 50 new readers who will at least have taken their first step, and I'm sure they will share the information with others. And they are very appreciative for you have done. As Vibhuti ji mentioned, we thought of this 3 episode offering. In the first one, we talk about mostly about Veda generally and the benefits. And last week, second episode, we went a little deeper. And in the third episode, we will continue those emphasis on those points, but all from various angles we will look at it. And especially, we would like to start today with the word success. As Vibhuti on the very first lecture episode mentioned, we have not come across anyone who does not want to succeed. So I want to quote Vibhuti again. And this Vedas will help you achieve that success. So people may say, hey, what is the connection between Vedas and success? So let's spend a few minutes about success. So first, let us look at how success is defined in the conventional way now, or in the popular conception. Success is defined by wealth. The more money you have, you are the most successful person. That is one definition. The more power you have, you are successful. The more fame you have, you are successful. Or one would like to have the combination of all these. That is the current definition. But there is no sure way. Some achieve, some have difficulties achieving it, some has problems after achieving it, all that. But Veda defines success. What Veda say is all human beings can lead a healthy, happy, and harmonious life with all-round perfection. Hey, Is that what Veda says? That is, nobody has told us that that is what Veda wants all human beings to do. So, what do we mean by all round perfection? Say, for example, to give an example, like Vibhuti quotes Michael Jordan. He has achieved near perfection in basketball. You take Albert Einstein, he achieved famous by his E equals mc squared scientifically. In different levels, people achieve success. But they are all perfection in only one field. Michael Jordan's perfection is in the basketball. But Veda says goes beyond. Human beings can achieve all round perfection. So one becomes more and more curious. What is the connection between Vedas and success? So that is the reason why this book is titled Veda for Success. So if Veda says that human beings can lead a healthy, happy, harmonious life with all round perfection, so we must ask the next question. At least in our uh, concept or per our current understanding, we attribute perfection to gods or divine. Human beings are prone to make mistakes. Human beings cannot. So, if Vedas say that human beings can achieve all round perfection, so the next question is human beings can become divine. So one must try to become divine because we associate perfection and all around perfection with the divine task. Like Sri Rama, we'll come back to that later. Vibhuti has a special way of describing. We'll come back to that. Such Purushas have become divine like. So divine, so human Vedas say, so we can translate this sentence. Vedas want all human beings to lead a healthy, happy, and harmonious life with all round perfection. Any task that you attempt, you will achieve perfection or higher levels of perfection than what you are currently used to. So, for that to happen, we can reason out then we have to be divine. Other way of saying is you can divinize your life. Now, we must understand the root of the word divine, divinization. These sometimes we suddenly get, when these words come, we don't go further to try to understand what that. It only means the word divine and divinization and deva, they all have come from the Sanskrit root word div. Div means to shine. Div, shine, shining. Shine means not like any shiny object, but shining with truth. Truth, power of truth and light. Truth and light are associated together. Falsehood and darkness are associated separately. So they are the opposites. So Div, the Deva, are powers of truth and light. What Veda says is you can divinize your life. So once you divinize your life, the level of divinization that you do, that means you reach perfection. So that is why Veda says all human beings can reach all round perfection. Perfection in all tasks that you attempt. Vibhuti is not only good in conducting the podcast, he was good in his profession. That is why, after being a successful profession, he has chosen this. So, in Veda, what it says is Ritasya Tandu. In Atharva Veda and Taittiriya, Aranyaka and mantras, the word comes Ritasya Tandu. Tandu means web, Ritam means truth. Satyam Ritam. Ritam is truth appropriate to the circumstances. So, Ritasya Tandu, there is a worldwide web, www, that we are all used to. That is the true worldwide web, where the Supreme Spirit is at the center of the web. all the devas are there, and all human beings, all animals, everyone is a node within that web. And that web, the actions are done by spiritual consciousness, because Supreme is the one who is guiding. And each individual, each manifestation, everything, the manifestation can connect with that Supreme. And the other devas are also there within this web. Depending upon the level, one's spiritual consciousness will rise. So, another way of saying we rise in consciousness level is that we are all part of the world wide web with Supreme Spirit at the center and the devas are. So, I'm trying to explain it in different simple ways that people can understand. So, by this connection, you are free to make a connection with anybody within this web. And if you spend some time to connect with the devas and the spirit, then you become spiritual. The SBNR, spiritual, B for but, N for not, R for religion, that the members of a few members of the Semitic religions, which are purely faith-based religions, who they coined that word, but we Sanatana Dharma people, we people in India, having been dominated by the West so far, we have an attraction for anything West. So when they chose such a word, about 80%, in fact, I read once there is a Hinduism today in the Hawaii. There is a
Yeah.
Subramanian Swami has built a temple, and they conduct a magazine every month. So they went to North Carolina and talked to the Sanatana Dharma students there, and they got the answer. 82% of those students. So when they are come to North Carolina, very high research center and research school, 82% of them answered they belong to SBNR. They don't. So how much we have misunderstood the Vedas. You see, Veda is not like a Semitic religion. Veda is, we explained in the last one or class, Vibhuti Ji, again and again, this is a Sanatana Dharma way of life. This Sanatana Dharma is connect with, you can lead a spiritual. That does not again mean that you wear this kavi, like whatever, that ochre robe dress and sit in a corner for 24 hours. That may be one way who wants to spend their life, who enjoy that, that is fine too. But Aurobindo repeatedly says that if all of us go and sit, try to become self-realized, who will do today's work? No, we are all born here to do the karma, but that karmas can be done with all-round perfection by divinizing, by connecting with the spirit deva. This is what the divinization means. Divine means power of becoming more and more power of light and rise in consciousness. So I can either say our consciousness, we will rise in consciousness level. I again, the Prithivya Saptadama Vihi, the whole uh, universe is divided into 7 zones of increasing consciousness level. Earth level has the truth mixed with falsehood, and as you go riser and higher, falsehood will become less, and truth component in the consciousness will rise higher and higher. That is one way for us to say, by chanting the mantras, we rise in consciousness. Another way to say is we have our ordinary consciousness level, and this worldwide web with the supreme spirit and other spirits together, there will be, we can connect. By connecting that, we get the spiritual consciousness. That is how we rise in consciousness. So we become divine like. We are not becoming divine by starting one mantra, we are not, or by chanting more mantras, we may not become overnight. It takes time, but you can choose the level of connections, and whether with one deva, and he will invite other, and all that we discussed. So I'll pause here to see whether this explanation makes better sense to the listeners, or Vibhuti have other suggestions?
No, you made a huge sense here. That is what is also very critical is it is spiritual but not religious. That's one part. Very critical. The second one you also mentioned that spirituality doesn't mean practicing success, doesn't mean you abandon your normal life. In Search of Excellence, the famous book that was written long time ago, is about achieving divinity in your performance, that you excel everybody else so that everybody knows you are the best. And you have seen this happen in normal life. When somebody excels beyond a point, then he becomes the goal.
I,
Like
I,
again,
I'm
again,
really pleased to hear this because I have not read that book.
yeah,
But what you quote is he uses the word the divinity.
correct.
I am really surprised.
Yes. So the point which I'm trying to say here is like Michael Jordan, for example, he achieved a status that in the world of basketball, everybody wants to be like Mike. In the world of basketball, not character, not his wealth, but in basketball, every basketball player wants to be like Mike. That's a phrase goes around here. So this is important. There's a very important distinction, and I want viewers to remember one thing: what Narayan Swamiji said, that this takes time. That's another very critical element. Things take time to happen. They don't happen overnight. Miracles happen, magic does not. Remember that. So miracle is what? When you are able to do something which you thought you were not able to do. You would not be able to do it ever, right? That's what is miracle. So this is what you have to understand and move forward. The one thing which I also want to add here, that I said in the beginning, the body does it. Everything body does it. And body is the one which puts us in a comfort zone. Who wants to work hard? If we had a choice to be wealthy without working hard, everybody will be. So the government now tells you, we will give you a basic minimum income to live, eat, and procreate. Basic income. That immediately kills your incentive to work or excel. Remember the traps which the politicians lay down for you. And that's what is important in this 21st century, because there are too many temptations, too many booby traps, too many honey traps. It is easy for people to watch a 3 hour football match, but very difficult to do 20 minutes of meditation. This is where you have to remember how to barter away your time, because 24 hours and 7 days in a week and 365 days in a year is constant for everybody. Achiever, non-achiever, lazy or doers. For everybody, it is the same constant factor. How do we go about it? So I wanted to ask you to focus on a couple of other elements, the spirituality part. But a lot of people think that by becoming spiritual, we become weak and humble, as if it is a body atonement. That spiritual means that we have to be very humble, sublime, very what do you call apologetic. No, spiritual means mental strength, physical ability. That's what is important about spirituality, that your mental strength, yoga, meditation, and pranayam, they make you mentally strong. And if you look at the success stories of people around your world, you will find they were mentally tough people. And they don't become mentally tough by sitting at home and watching a musical program on the TV 24 hours a day. Swamiji, take it forward now.
So I want to introduce also one other aspect that we all can relate to. Let's take the word enjoyment. Enjoyment. We all want to, everybody say, enjoy the life. So the conventional, or all of us think enjoyment means eating a good meal, going to a good movie, or to a football game, or a basketball game, or a baseball game, whatever one's
Or
preferred.
a cricket game for that matter.
You see,
Yeah.
and having some sensual or carnal pleasures. That is enjoyment. Otherwise, they talk about they saying you lead an ascetic life. So, in the eyes of many conventional or educated or what is floating around you type information, we consider unless I take part in all these things, I'm a dud or I'm a nerd, I don't have any enjoyment. That concept is there. But Vedas tell you, look at enjoyment in another way. By Bhagavad Gita says that there are uh, tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic. There are three types of people. And what Bhagavad Gita also says is the enjoyment depends upon the perceptive with this that you do, doing a happy life, contributing to society, uh, doing your work with perfection, increase your perfection, and spend some time with the community. And this that enjoyment Veda defines as soma. So this soma we return back to the gods. So that is sometimes be misinterpreted that, oh, yeah, Indra wants to drink soma, he becomes inebriated and all that. There is another type of mistaken, funny type explanation. Some people want to make fun of our own religion, who don't belong to our religion, or even people belonging to our religion who wants to put down and appeal to the so-called quote unquote elites. So make all these explanations. So they are all wrong. What they are saying is there is a, for example, when a professional football guy, when he touches it, he just points his hands upstairs, says someone blessed him. Similarly, just like Vibhuti Ji quoted Michael Jordan, I know for a fact Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who is a member in UCLA and he was a Lakers basketball fan, he was tremendously promoted yoga. He was yoga. The man who is running up and down, he's able to breathe, control his breathing. Basketball, the court length may be small, but anyone who has played basketball will know how hard that is compared to every, you have to give out your best. But Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the exceptional player, has so much contributed about it. So in all these things, the enjoyment, the person gets the enjoyment. So we must all try to have that enjoyment is possible by how we approach things. If you want to be the tamasic, dull-headed enjoyment, you lead your life in that way. But the rajasic and sattvic combination will come as we come more and more in rising. We will see, we'll continue doing the action, and there is a strength and happiness in doing what you do, and the confidence that comes up with this, because you know you are doing your task well. That is where the confidence comes. The fact that you are also spiritual along with that. Spiritual does not mean you have to be subservient, you have to bow down to everybody. No, others will start bowing down. They will see the what is you see, Sanskrit defines ojas, brajas, tejas. These are all associated with different ways. So you can see a person, as we say, that one who knows not, he knows not, he's a fool, study him. One who knows not, but knows he knows not, he's simple, teach him. One who knows and knows not, he's asleep, awaken him. One who knows and knows he knows, he's wise, follow him. So Veda says, you try to become you become suddenly when the consciousness arises, you become wise and you have a confidence that comes. You are not subservient at all. You will do your task well. So by this definition of enjoyment, that pleasure, you see, a musician sings a song very well, people clap. So that he immediately thanks the divine, that he has become spiritual. He is fully immersed in that work. He's able to do that with the higher levels of perfection. That will give each such person a confidence, and one will not become subservient at all. I don't know whether I answered your question, Vibhuti.
You said it absolutely, because I was looking at the elements that Veda talk about is also immortality, and also what you call delight. So look at the success story of many artists and musicians, poets, or sportsmen. They become immortal, not for themselves alone, but for the game, for the profession, for the industry that they are in. So you have any number of examples that you can choose from. How so many people have achieved immortality. That's success. How many people are forgotten soon as they are gone? This is what is important for us to understand. And I want to drive home this point. I want you to think about it in your own mind because it's your understanding that will help you grow successful and become better. That you have to practice it. It's not about weakening. Spirituality and the success formula makes you successful to achieve all kinds of things. Like in a company, when you retire, some people are good riddance, and some people say, "Oh, we will miss him forever because he was such an outstanding person and performer, Purusharth, Parakram, Prabhav. These are very important words that brings about a greater amount of consciousness. Now, I wanted to also talk about one element of equality. Seeking equality and freedom and everything else. Equality is a word in the 21st century. It has been very seriously abused, confused with equity, and it's a Marxist philosophy that brings it in the element. So, you know, how does one talk about, address the issue of equality? Because we are all actually very different. You are different, I am different, and all the people who are watching, we are all different from each other. So, equity, equality, how does one understand that element which is so prevalent in this current woke era?
Uh, in fact, none other than our Sri Aurobindo, who studied 5,000-year period from 4000 BCE to 1000 AD. He took a span of 5,000 years and he looked for the concepts of success. And he pointed out five concepts that are important, any one of them that you can hold on to, that gives you the path to success. So, five concepts. And he mentioned first is uh, freedom, swarajyam. In Sanskrit, it says swarajyam. The freedom means just because you live in a country like US or India, you are not free. If you are constrained by these things, for you to get an individual freedom, you must be at peace with yourself. If you are chasing this and that, then you are not free. You are dragged from one task to the other, and you don't have a calmness and all that. So, for that freedom to come, this swarajyam within oneself, yeah, I am comfortable in my skin and in what I do. I know when I take upon a task, I give it my full attention. And with the rise in consciousness level, with the aid of inviting these energies, I'm able to see the task well. And I have done it as well as I am capable of. God given gifts, I have utilized them. I have done it well. That comfort zone is what gives you the freedom to attempt Swarajyam. Then the other one, the equality, Samanatvam. The word used in Sanskrit, sometimes when it is translated into English, it gets misunderstood. Equality means hey, I'm going to treat everybody equal. I am not going to recognize your ability to do things with more perfectly. The one who does not able to do that equality, that so-called Marxism is not the equality that we are talking about. This samanatvam, that is, you do not try to have a chip on your shoulder that I'm better than this. You have the internal confidence that you are seeing this problem. I am seeing not only my problems, but I'm also seeing why the other person is not able to succeed. I want to lift him up. That type of attitude is called the samanatvam. And also the equanimity. You develop an equanimity. Shidoshna Sugadukeshu Samatvam. That equality is what the Shitoshna Sugadukeshu. Shitam or Ushnam. Shitam is cold, Ushnam is hot. When it's cold, oh, it is too cold. Don't complain too much. It is too hot. Don't complain. You must develop an equanimity to accept what the weather situation is. Of course, you would like to be set your AC if you have about to a comfortable temperature, that's separate. But how you attitude, as I said earlier, the enjoyment depends upon how we approach that with our that equanimity. Shita Ushna Sugadukeshu, Shidam or Ushnam, Sukham or Dukham. This all will happen. These are all transient in this thing. Don't jump too much up and down with joy when you're happy, and don't go into the depths of depression. You develop all these will happen when you know I'm trying to do the best. I am performing my task with the creativity, with the higher levels of perfection, the confidence that one gets. Then the next one that he says is the immortality. You rise. Again, we said the 7 levels of Buhu, Buvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Each level having a higher level of consciousness. The truth level increases and the falsehood level decreases. That you achieve a near immortal stage. Of course, human beings to become immortal does not mean that you live forever. The body after some time has to wither away. But as Vibhuti Ji already said, their names are sort of immortal. Long after Michael Jordan has stopped playing, we compare Michael Jordan as the standards for even today's people when they say, hey, is he how level into that? So that is the equality. Then delight. When we perform a task with a thing, we develop a soma. That soma we grant back to, oh, these energies, you guided me the right, you showed me the right path and all that. And this is my return. Gods do not need putting some donation in a hundi box. That will not remove whatever mistakes you did. The way to do is you try to do this. You connect with the spirit. You stay in this World Wide Web, Ritasya Tandu, where there is Supreme is also a member. You connect with that and rise in the spiritual consciousness. With that one, again, as we said, with these, any one of these, you will develop all these qualities. Even though Aurobindo said, any one of these quality, these 5, that is adequate, that will lead you to success. By analyzing 5,000 years of successful people, Sri Aurobindo has concluded, that is quoted in the book. So we must try to understand these points, and your confidence level will increase.
Absolutely. So well said. And this is what I want to appeal to the viewers, that each one of us, my favorite phrase is intellectually, intuitively, and instinctively, we know what we can do. Performing to your best. I have always asked my reportees when I was in a corporate world, when some reportee would tell me, "Sir, I did my best." My simple intonation to him used to be, "How did you know that was your best?" You have to inspire people. You have to ask this question to yourself. I'm doing this. This is the best I can do. But we never inquire ourselves, is this my best or I could do better? And I do this with my son all the time. Could you have done this better? Could you have said this better? This is a search. This is what the search in pursuit of excellence, in search of excellence is all about that. Is this the best I could do? Look, we are living in America. Not everybody will become a billionaire. Let's put it this way. Very simple. Karmic or performance levels. Not everybody will become a billionaire, but we can all be successful. There was one very important thing that Dr. Narayanswami said. Happiness, delight. Have you noticed that? Whenever you are very happy at work, when you do your best at work on a particular day, your day goes well with everybody in their relationship, behavior, and everywhere else. That what does that say? It says only one thing: that day you did your best. You can't perform the best every day, but you can always strive to do your best every day. That's the message. The one thing which I wanted to talk to you about, Sri Ram, and I want to bring about that thing in conversation, sharing with the viewers as well. There was a time when Ram Mandir was being established, you know, पुनः स्थापना हुई थी राम मंदिर की. So there was a lot of excitement, and it was given a religious overtone, and it was also given the fact that oh, Hindus are trying to Jai Shri Ram means destruction of everybody else, and some people said that it is a phobic statement. But some of my American friends asked me, what is it about Ram that makes you guys so crazy? It's a colloquial conversation. He was not meaning Ramji crazy. What makes us crazy? So I said that, look, Mr. Sri Ram, we call him Maryada Purushottam. We all know that. Why do we call him Maryada Purushottam? It's primarily because he stood up to the values which normal people like you and I give in to. Either shortcut, or when the rubber hits the road, or we make a compromise, or we say, oh, it's too tough. And I want to tell you this. I told my friends, American friends, Sri Ram stood for integrity, truth, trust, honesty, accountability, responsibility, and standing for being who he was. He never sacrificed. He never let himself be tempted by anything else, something that we find it impossible to do. And look at it from politically. These are the elements, these values are those values which people expect from their leaders. And that's why they are disappointed when the leader doesn't stand up to all of these values. Sri Ram did. When I explained to them in that manner, it made sense to them. And that's why I'm sharing it to you. That you can also become upholding these values without compromising on any element of your life, whether it's material success, happiness, or anything else. So, would you like to comment on that in relation to Sri Ram and the Vedic values of freedom, equality, perfection, immortality, and delight? Sri Ram is immortal for all of us.
In fact, that is a very good point that I want to add to what Vibhuti said by this. It is not enough if we hear that Sri Ram is this. We have been told the Ramayana story from childhood, and everyone gets understand the Ramayana story, and they say, "I know Ramayana." However, Vibhuti also mentioned that you have to have the swadhyaya and pranayama. You continue to read. And I encourage people to learn a little bit Sanskrit. Many of your listeners are young. Do not think that I did not study Sanskrit in school. It would have been nice if Sanskrit was a subject that was taught you well, but we cannot go back to that. But today, where we are, there are many opportunities to learn Sanskrit. Try to learn some Sanskrit or try to read the Ramayana. I will take, there are so many aspects of the Ramayana we can take, but just let's take that simple aspect of Ramayana. Rama is going to be, everyone knows the story. Dasharatha decides that it's time to crown him as the next crown prince. At that time, Kaikeyi wanted the boons, and Rama went to forest. Please read. If you don't have time to read the full Ramayana, go to that part of the Ramayana, and I'll tell you that maybe less than 100 verses or so. So Dasharatha comes, does not see Kaikeyi, so he comes to Kaikeyi, and Mandara has prepared Kaigeyi. No, if Rama becomes the crown prince, you'll be you have no place and all that. So you ask the two boons you have and all that. So she asked, and Dasharatha is trying to coax Kaigeyi, don't press on this, because he has given those two vows to her, that you can ask two vows and I will grant it. And she asked her, will you grant those vows? And then he said yes. And then only she said these are the two things that she wanted. So next day morning, Dasharatha is not seen. So Rama first comes here. Rama first comes and says, and Dasharatha does not tell him to go to forest. Kaikeyi says, if you will do what Dasharatha wants you to do, and Dasharatha moans there, no, that's not what I want. But Kaikeyi says, these are the two things. Immediately he decided to go, and then he goes to Kausalya, his mother. She also does not know. And then he says, we have to go. Then Kausalya says, I am your mother. If you go to forest now, I will be left without any support here. And you have a responsibility to listen to mother's commands. You have to accept your Matra Dharma also. And Matra Dharma says, you stay here. And Lakshman says, don't go and all that. Then Rama reasons out that I agree, mother, I have to listen to you also. But you are also bound by Dasharatha as the head of the family. If I do not go to forest, that amounts to breaking the vow of Dasharatha, breaking the truth that I want my father to live or die on truth. By my not going, by my listening to the Madhur Dharma, but Madhur, you are also, everyone has a responsibility to protect the dharma of the family, the dharma, the truth of the family. So there are so many passages that goes on between Kausalya, Rama, back and forth. Simply read this. These are the why. Now I bring this to say that all the even up to 700 AD or so, before the onslaught of all these invaders to India, 800 or 900 AD, somewhere around this Ghazni or Gilzi came in 990 AD or whatever. Till that time, there were Sadurdasha Vidyasthana being taught in. That was a prerequisite before you can become a physician, you are becoming a chariot builder, you can build any profession that you want to take. Everyone has to go through the Chadurdasha, 14 Vidyasana centers. What are they? The 4 Vedas, essence of the 4 Vedas. There are 6 Vedangas. Shiksha, Nyaya, Jyotisha, Kalpa, many 6 Vedangas, 4 plus 6, 10, and the 4 Upavedas, Upangas. So all these things were Dharma Shastra, all those an essence of being taught, and the personal qualities are firmly ingrained before you specialize into your the 10 or 12 years. So that is called the Vedic education. So we all have to start this Sanatani Dharma, and Rama is an Uttama Purusha. When he was confronted from all those things, he saw what is to uphold the family by doing that. And then he became successful. He led his life, as Vibhuti Ji repeatedly said. That is, I'm simply adding this that to complement why Sri Rama is held in such high esteem.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Like this conversation is very fruitful, very useful for all of us. Even after, you know, going through the process of Mahabharata, Gita, and everything else, I never get tired of this. And I want to share with Dr. Narayanswamy must be knowing it, and I want to share with all of you. The Success Sutra is there in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18. Look it up. I will not tell you the exact verses, but there are 5 sutras of success. Bhagavad Gita also lays that down. My purpose of saying this to you is we have forgotten our own knowledge system. for whatever reason. Our apathy, subjugation, torture, or whatever. It's time for us to arise, awaken, assert, and act. That's the message that I want to tell you. The one thing which I also wanted to ask Dr. Narayan Swami, and I want to make it, he doesn't know that I'm asking this question to him, is in NASA, when you were living your life of perfection, performance, what you have talked about, the Vedic life, how were the American friends reacting to you there? Did they think of you as the weirdo, the eccentric, this Hindu guy, or they had total understanding of what you were actually trying to do? I want you to share your personal experience of working in NASA. You were a very successful scientist, researcher. You floated companies. So share with that part of the experience in the entire process.
In fact, the NASA people, one thing in those days I had to say is that they are really looking for excellence. If you make a reasonable point, it does not matter. It may be the division chief or branch chief and all that. If you have a point that you are making and with the conviction and with the understanding, and that I was able to make because I think I was able to see things with a little bit more clarity. So in any this thing and all that, in all those meetings, and uh, I went there as a national postdoctoral fellowship, 72 and 73. As I entered, it was all very, what shall I say, too much. Oh, this is such a great institution. I went there in 1972, January. In 1970, Neil Armstrong has landed on the moon, and NASA's prestige is very high. Every month we get distinguished professors from Harvard, MIT, Caltech, Berkeley, to Princeton to give lectures on various topics. They are all talking about things. So early on, it was very overpowering. But once in your own calm ways, you start by being overpowered. Oh, I am. I don't know. That type of thing never occurred to me, and I am telling you that comes from that the daily sadhana that I used to do. The whatever little time I have, the pranayam, the yoga, that all those things. In the remaining time, we have got to tell them, let them know that while the mantra chanting is one aspect, there is the yajna, there is the yoga. We must completely, though, if people have not spent the time on these are all the factors that give you the calmness and the confidence. How will they give you the confidence and confidence? Please do not ask. You have to experience that. You start doing it, then you experience. Our purpose is to say that, hey, hearing is good, but you are not going to learn swimming by reading textbooks on written by on swimming, how to float. You get into the water, couple of times you gulp the water inside, you try to this thing, and then you try to say. So you have to practice this in that one. So we have so to answer the question, after that initial this thing and all that, then once you start understand, so this is the, let us come to the problem at hand. And whenever you make the solution that and all that, they were, and in fact, this is the division, my division chief said, only citizens are appointed to the NASA. You are only an immigrant. I have come there and I now spent the minimum number of years. I came as a student, then I have become converted to permanent residency. But we can make a special application to hire you as a NASA employee. If you plan to remain citizen, if you give a commitment that when your 5-year period is after, you will become a citizen, I will. So the division chief, the structures division chief, personally told me. Then when I said, no, I want to go back and help my country, I don't know, I have not told Vibhuti also. I went back to India. I spent
Oh,
1 year and look at sometimes the youth. I was a little bit not fully understanding of the business requirements. I wanted to establish a computer company in Kerala. There were no computers in India itself. So I went to Madras IIT. He said, there is only one computer. We cannot give time from this one. Anyway, that's a different story. But I said, I want to go back. I spent 1 year to establish this, but everyone offered me job. Abdul Kalam was the structures division chief at Trivandrum. He invited me to give talks there, and he said, I can give you the highest position here, but I cannot make you a consultant. That was the consultant was a bad word in India at that time. But now they have no problem. You see, in a sense, we were slightly ahead of our times. But that all these happens. You see, I have just have a PhD from a Texas Tech. So it is, while I am not a Harvard PhD or a Berkeley PhD, Texas Tech, it is what I was able to do this, understand this, and that comes from our life of yoga, the little bit of whatever connecting with the energies. Then 18 out of 15 hours vacant time, I would have spent maybe slightly more time, 45 minutes to an hour to do yoga and meditation and my chanting mantras. But the other 14 hours, that spirituality is there, but I'm concentrating on my work. And you are able to rise with that one. So NASA, and also when I started the company also, I am going to companies like Ford, GM, and Mercedes-Benz, Toyota. They are all smart engineers, and they listen to, hey, this is a better way to do things. And all these was possible. Of course, I was bright on one side. However, the ability to think on your feet, these are things, whether the intuitive powers develop in you or the other energies that I have invited are always showing me the correct whatever. But I have no doubt in my mind there are other brilliant people like me, but the level of success that I was able to achieve, I attribute to this Sanatana Dharma way of life that I continued and practiced. Did I answer your
you
question?
achieved you achieved elevated equilibrium for higher consciousness, and you learned so many more things, and that's why you were seeing things differently, and that's how that perception was missing in others, which is what made you excel. This is what I want to tell viewers today. This is the end of conversation today. But I want to make a suggestion to you. We did not want to, we deliberately chose to do this particular program in 3 episodes, basically to inspire you, to show you the path with real examples, the truth. You can be outstanding. There is nothing in the world you can't achieve if you commit to doing so. And I'll give you a very simple example. Dr. Narayanswami talked about swimming. You don't learn swimming by reading the manual of swimming or wearing the most expensive, fancy shorts, swimming trunks. You learn swimming by getting into the pool. Yeah, you know the essential things are instinctive, intuitive, and intelligently you know that. Take the second example, my favorite example, driving. Recall your first day of driving. First day of driving, so much excitement. I'm going to drive a car, looking for the keyhole to put the key, then the clutch and accelerator coordination, brake, looking to the right and left, giving the signal, right, left signal. How tough was it? Because you could cause an accident if you were not careful. But think about it. How effortless driving is for you today. It is effortless. You take the keys, you get into the car, you swing about, and you go and you do everything very instinctively and effortlessly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what success principles of Vedic principles teach you. Yoga, meditation, pranayam, They teach you for becoming better in mind, seeing things differently, and becoming different thereby. So give yourself time. Last time, Dr. Narayan Swami taught you the mantra, 79 page 80 81. The mantras are there. How to invite fire within, in your home, in your environment. It's all about fire. People always say, fire up, get fired up to do something, right? It's all about Agni. Those who understand it, they will get it. Those who don't understand, they will talk about the matchbox. Those who understand, they talk about fire. So, with these words, I'm ending the program. I want to make a request to you. We will keep the option open of a next episode, but the next episode we do, whenever we do, will be based upon the questions that you ask. You can ask the questions after the end of the show. You put your question, your inquiry. We will make a compendium of those questions, and Dr. Narayan Swami will address those questions, your individual questions. Whatever your problem, impediment, or inability is, let's address that. And we are willing to take that time. So, with these words, I will say, Satyame Vijayate, and for truth to triumph, you got to stand up and fight for it. Truth doesn't win by itself. So, back to the basic, unless until the body learns and you decide to do that. And I want to give this as a warning. Please, please, please do not think that spirituality makes you weak, makes you shithil, or accommodating of everything. Yoga, pranayam, and meditation makes you mentally strong. And when you are mentally strong, you can deal with anything because everything begins from here. Dr. Narayan Swami, thank you very much. It is honor and a very interesting thing that Swami you pointed out when Dr. Swami pointed out in the start of the show was the last week we were intuitively wearing bluish shirts. Today we are wearing something saffronish. We didn't plan for it. So with these words, thank you very much. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Vibhuti ji.